This is a question that has been circulating online for a long time. What would happen if the Earth suddenly stopped rotating? First of all, people living at the equator would be the most unfortunate. At the equator, the speed of the Earth's surface relative to its axis is about 1,500 feet per second. If the Earth stopped rotating, then the atmosphere would suddenly whiz past at a speed of 1,500 feet per second. Whizzing past. For comparison, 1,125 feet per second is already supersonic. Storms at the equator would reach their peak. People living between 42 degrees north and 42 degrees south would also feel this supersonic storm. However, the good news is, this storm would only last for a few minutes, because the friction between the atmosphere and the ground would weaken the wind force. However, this supersonic storm that only lasts a few minutes would be enough to destroy almost all buildings. The Beijing, China is right on the dividing line of this supersonic storm. Although the wind force here is much weaker than at the equator, but it is still twice as powerful as the strongest tornado in history. Twice as strong as the strongest tornado. Wherever the storm strikes, buildings are destroyed. Collapsed buildings roll across the ground. Almost no one can survive this storm. However, the winds at the north and south poles would significantly weaken. The city with the highest latitude on Earth is Longyearbyen in Norway. But even this northernmost city would experience storms comparable to the strongest tropical cyclones on Earth today. Even so, humanity would not face extinction, although people on the ground would not be able to survive this storm. When the storm occurs, those riding the subway would just happen to escape this disaster. Additionally, the scientists at the Antarctic Research Station would also be lucky, because the Earth rotates along its axis, and Antarctica is situated on the ground. Therefore, the air above Antarctica remains still. Workers at the research station would only lose contact with the outside world. In reality, if they hadn't discovered why the sun suddenly stopped moving, they wouldn't even feel anything unusual. If the Earth completely stops rotating, the normal day-night cycle would end. The sun wouldn't completely hover in the sky, but it would move much slower. Because the Earth would still orbit the sun, we would still see the sun rise and set, but this time it would happen only once a year. Of course, strictly speaking, it wouldn't be once a year, because the storm would create friction with the ground, thus causing the ground to start rotating slowly. At that time, it would take about 3,000 years for the Earth to complete one rotation. However, the length of a month would not change, because the moon would still orbit the Earth. In fact, the moon not only stays with us, but it would also accelerate the Earth's rotation. Before the Earth stops rotating, the tidal force generated by the moon's gravity would slow down Earth's rotation and pull the moon into a higher orbit. In a scenario where the Earth stops rotating, the moon's gravity would very slowly increase the Earth's rotation speed again, until one day a blogger named Universe Announcement asked, what would happen if the Earth suddenly stopped rotating? What will happen?